To Lucknow, yeah, that was really nice. From Kolkata.
For how many days?
A lot of kanji and, to be reading all the time. And when I came here, I realized that you learn so much passively and there's so much information.
First of all, thank you so much for your overwhelming response on this video. Interview of MEXT Scholar. I do appreciate that. It has inspired me to make some more videos on this topic. So if you have an urge of studying in Japan, this video is going to be very informative. In it, MEXT Scholar from Switzerland has shared her experience about it. I have tried to cover almost all the questions that arise in the mind of MEXT aspirant. So if you are one of them, this is going to be helpful. So without wasting time, let us get started. First of all, let me introduce her.
Hello everyone, my name is Isabel. Konnichiwa. I am from Switzerland and I am a MEXT student here at Gakugo University, the same as Johnny. I am from Switzerland, but I am currently studying in Germany at Heidelberg University. I'm studying East Asian Studies with focus on Japanology, which is unique to my university. But before starting my bachelor's, I worked as a nurse. I have a nursing degree, and I guess hobby-wise, I love to experience new cultures, be it through food or music or movies or languages. I also like to dance, and yeah, it's also one thing why I like Bollywood a lot as well, is because it combines all of those things. Yeah.
So as you have mentioned Bollywood, I would request you in fact to sing a song if you know.
Can I sing a song? Wait, let me see.
I have heard you singing that song from that movie, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, right? Khetri ji.
But I cannot actually say the right words, only how
No
I
problem,
hear them.
no problem. It's fine. Even I am not good at remembering lyrics. Which song you were singing on that day? When we went to Mount Takao, you were singing something. I forgot.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Which one was it? Bol churiya da 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 da.
Bol kangana.
Na 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 na. Da 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 da. La 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 la.
Who is your favorite actor?
Oh my god, in Bollywood?
Bollywood. I think you follow Bollywood, right? You watch some movies of Bollywood, right?
Actually, to be honest, I only know the old ones.
All right.
With Shiro Khan and Kajol, and they're still my favorite couple.
Oh, right.
As I saw the Bollywood movies, I've always wanted to go to India, and I got to go to India for just a little while, for 2 times, and because I saw all of the music, the colors, and also just, yeah, I don't know, the food as well, and that's why I really wanted to go there. So it's the same for me, because I saw the Bollywood movies, I really wanted to go to India, so...
I think you have been to India, right, earlier?
Yeah.
How was your experience?
It was great. I mean, yeah, I didn't get to go there for very long, but I got to experience the life and also take a long train to Lucknow. Yeah, that was really nice, from Kolkata.
For how many days did you stay in India?
I was twice there, once for 2 weeks and once only for about 10 days, unfortunately. Next time I want to go longer.
Okay, no problem. Welcome to India anytime.
Thank you.
And if you come to Gujarat, if you come to Ahmedabad or Rajkot, you have my number on. You can contact me, no problem.
Have one.
Isabel, it has always been my dream to visit Switzerland, right? And as you are from Switzerland, so I want you to tell something more about Switzerland.
I think Switzerland is interesting because there's some things that are exactly how you imagine it, and there are some things that are not so much. But I do have to say, honestly, like, Switzerland is gorgeous. And I've been to many places, and a lot of places are very beautiful in their own way, I think. But My father does a lot of mountain climbing, and he used to take me to the mountains, and we hiked in snow and the ice, and the feeling of being so high up. I think the Himalayas would be the same, right? Similar. It is really beautiful, and the grass is green, and the towns are just picturesque, and the lakes are blue. It is really gorgeous. It is also because Switzerland is a pretty rich country. It's a very small country. So people are very friendly and polite.
Now, my second question is, as my viewers, they know it, I am here on a scholarship of teacher training program, but your scholarship program is a bit different, right? So can you tell something more about your scholarship program?
Yes, so I am a Japanology research student, so it's called Nikensei. I study East Asian studies with a focus on Japanese studies back at my university in Germany. And so I've been studying Japanese for some time, and that's why I got selected to do this scholarship. It is a scholarship for students who want to come here to learn more Japanese, to better their Japanese, but also to study more about Japanese society, literature, and also to begin do a small research project. In the end, you will have a presentation and a small report to write.
Okay, thank you so much, and congratulations for acquiring this scholarship.
Thank you. I was lucky.
Tell me that in your country, how did you come to know about the scholarship?
So, in my institute, Japanology Institute in Heidelberg University, after you have completed 2 years of studies, you will apply for going on a year or 1 semester abroad in Japan. And many go to study here for a year, but some are asked if they want to apply for a MEXT scholarship by the teachers. Specifically, if your grades are a bit better, you get lucky at that time. And that's how I got to know about it. They gave us information pamphlets about it and told us about this.
See, it is not easy to get selected for such scholarship, right? There are a number of people, they are in queue and they want to get selected. So, what are the special preparations you've made for that?
Yeah, well, maybe I did work hard in my first year, so and that's the time when the selection process starts. So I guess I was also a little bit lucky that at that point my grades were good. They haven't been that good since then, I guess. No, but that was one part. Yeah, you need to kind of show that this is you really want to come here and research, and you're not just studying for fun, but I think a lot of people qualify for that. We applied generally to go on a year abroad here, and then we wrote down our motivations for it. And I guess already in that motivation, when I wrote it, I already kind of specified what are the things I want to learn about Japan specifically, and not just generally, I think. After that, when the teachers asked me, I had to do an extra application for MEXT. It's a pretty long process, and a small interview with my teacher. Some universities ask you to do the N2 test, but in my university you don't have to do the test, but show that you are more or less on level 2 of JLPT.
Okay, this is all about studies and everything. Now, I think it is one of the most important questions that I would like to ask. See, life in Europe, especially in European countries, is a bit different than the life of Japan, right? If I'm not wrong. So, have you been accustomed with the lifestyle of Japan or not?
Well, I think there are different levels to it. I think on a superficial level, I have like how to use a cash machine, or things like easier things like that, or on which side to walk. Then there are a bit deeper things like what to wear outside. I think that is something that I had to get used to. Like as a woman, that you can't, you have to be sure to cover your skin more or less, and also, for example, just generally to talk a bit more quiet and also not to talk too much on the train. And I guess, but deeper things I haven't really gotten used to so much yet. I think that would take probably more months or years, like which relationships I have to other students, to teachers, how to talk to them, who do I talk politely to, who is fine, and what language should I use, as well as what can you talk about, what can't you talk about. These things I still have to figure out.
Now, my question is that do you find any difference living in Switzerland and living in Japan? Have you come across any sort of differences between these two countries?
They are pretty different in some ways, but in some ways they are also similar. I think it's more similar in Switzerland than in Germany, but I think the main difference is probably that there are a lot more rules here in public. So in Switzerland, I can wear whatever I want to, and you can also smoke on the streets and have a beer somewhere in the park or like that. And I think that's probably one of the things that is very much different here in Japan. But also, I think also just the school system and entirely, I think up to high school with wearing uniforms and wearing just suits and things like that are pretty different. And also, I think the biggest difference is that in Japan life is a lot more convenient because you have convenience stores open all the time, and you can buy things everywhere, and that's not like that in Switzerland. Sundays stores close at 6 p.m. So I think that's some of the big differences.
To say that, okay, see, you basically belong to Switzerland, you have spent number of years in Switzerland, right? You might have number of friends there, your family is there, your friends are there. So have you found any kind of differences in the way of thinking of the people in Switzerland and in Japan?
I think the way of thinking that is different is more on a superficial level. I think as soon as you really get in family relationships and friendship relationships, it's basically the same. Maybe there is a little bit more of a rules in relationships as well and what is expected, but I think the main differences in kind of thinking is when you first approach someone, that you have these levels of how to address them, and this process of getting close to them, that is a big difference. Whereas in Europe, basically you say hi and then you're acquaintance and you're on first name basis, and I think that's something to get used to here, that you have to put in some work to get close to someone. But I think if you're close to someone, then I think there's not too much of a difference.
That is what actually I wanted to know in my country. No, as we people, if we do not know someone, we start talking, and after some time, we can be good friends. Now here, as I know, it has been 5 months, right, so far, of yours staying in Japan. So share an experience that has surprised you the most.
Surprised me the most. I think I was surprised in how much people are willing to talk. So a lot of times we hear that in Japan a lot of things are taboo and people don't really talk and things like that. But I think as a foreigner, you have a little bit of a free card because you are kind of from the outside. So I've had really long and deep discussions. For example, someone I met when I was traveling, and we talked about politics and went really deep, and it was okay. And I've had that a couple of times, and I think that was surprising. It was really nice surprise, I think. But that people are actually, I think, willing to talk if you just sit with them and ask them the questions. And
definitely I would agree with that. Actually, there was an impression in my mind before coming to Japan, because I saw a number of videos that the people here are, they do not talk directly. They are a bit, you can say, not introvert, but they are not used to that process. But after coming here, while talking to many Japanese, there are some resident assistant while traveling, we meet someone. So if we ask, if we talk, then that impression may get changed. So it does surprise me as well.
one thing also that's maybe not so deep, but I was super surprised about the food. So everybody always says like Japanese food is, it's so healthy and everything, right? With fish and vegetables. And that is true. That is true of the traditional food. However, if you go outside and try to eat something in a restaurant, most of it is either ramen soup or fried things and things in oil, but not a lot of vegetables or fish, sometimes the affordable food. And people they get their vitamins from drinking these kind of like juice boxes, and that's something that kind of surprised me, and I'm still wondering how they keep in shape with their diet.
Isabel, what is your take? I mean, whenever I see that bento, that food items, they are packed in such a beautiful manner that you get tempted.
Yes.
So what is your take on that?
Well, I'm always tempted, and don't get me wrong, I do like that food, and I think there is a culture of taking care of, like preparing a nice bento, like the mom, like this is a traditional view, and that the mom will prepare a nice bento with the rice and the meat and the vegetables. However, I think people, especially grown-ups, don't have a lot of time to cook in their lives, so they do. And sometimes if I don't have the time, I also kind of buy a bento from the convenience store.
Okay. So far, according to your experience, 5 months is not sufficient. I know, I understand. But as your experience is concerned in Japan for 5 months, would you recommend others for the scholarship or not? And if yes, why? If not, why?
I would definitely recommend this scholarship, to apply for this scholarship, but I would also put a condition to it that you really want to also study and do this research program, because you can also come here for a year and take some classes and also just really have fun. And don't get me wrong, we have a lot of free time and fun as well, but it is a lot of work. I think Gakuge is one of the more easier MEXT scholarship programs. There is a lot of work involved, and you have to kind of pass your comfort zone to do a research project, to make interviews with Japanese people, to read actual research in Japanese and things like that. So there is, and there's also a little bit more of a pressure, I think. Well, that's how I feel from my university, because it is a government scholarship, as opposed to others who it doesn't really matter what they do basically in this year and they can just go back. So with that condition in mind, I would definitely recommend it.
Okay. So we both are in the same universities, though our programs are different, right? Mm. And we are different as well. You are from, you belong to another country and I belong to another country, right? Would you like to say anything about the university you are in?
Yes, sure. I think one of the most telling things about it is that we were able to come here. So in this Corona process, a lot of universities, like all the universities, had to make the decision if they would go through the trouble to let their students come here, even though it would be a lot of work, a lot of waiting, a lot of arranging. And they did that work so we could come here, and that's why we are here. And I think that tells a lot about Gakuge, and people have told me, because it is a university that trains teachers, everybody is nice. And so far I can only say that's very true. The teachers are very nice and they are very understanding. They say from the beginning, hey, let's also have fun, let's work but also have fun, and they're just very helpful. I think with every university you will have to kind of ask. If you have a question, you have to ask and write them, and then they will respond. You can't just wait, and I think that with Gakuge it's the same. But compared to what my friends in others experience, they are very communicative, and helpful.
So I do agree with that. Other than all the aspects which you have spoken so far, let me tell you that the location of our university is at a very good place. We can go, it's so convenient that we can go at any places in no time. Seeing all the aspects, I feel that we are at the best place. And you must be agree, I think.
Yeah, I think the dorm can change sometimes. I think the MEXT students are normally at a different dorm here. That's a bit farther away. But you can get a bike and it will help you get around town and not just stay in one place as well. Yeah, and the campus is beautiful, isn't it? With a lot of trees and very relaxing.
Yes, I agree with that. Now, it's a very important question. See, how do you cope up with the lifestyle of Japan in terms of natural calamities?
I think I didn't also think about that, and that is something that, I mean, if we hear something from Japan, it's often about natural calamities. I think for me, I've also heard from some people, oh, don't travel to that region because there's a lot of earthquakes there. For me, it's just kind of part of the deal. It's part of the package. It's part of Japan. So, and I think coming here, I don't feel scared because people are prepared and they prepare you. We've had several lessons and even like an outing somewhere to learn about what to do in natural disaster situations. There are signs everywhere where to go, and there are fire extinguishers everywhere. So I think it is a reality, and I think it is something that is very real for a lot of people. But I also think that if one country knows how to deal with natural calamities, it's Japan. And I think, that's...
See, actually, we Indians, like to, mostly you can see Indians in America, in Europe, in Australia even, but the number of Indians in Japan is less. So I think I would like you to give more emphasis on this point, particularly that you need not worry about natural calamities. The structure of the house is like... is constructed, is built in such a manner that if something goes wrong, you are not going to get in trouble, right?
Absolutely. Like, you don't have to worry. There are apps and everything. Even when those big earthquakes happen, you will be helped and guided, and that doesn't happen that often. Anyway, in Tokyo it doesn't that much. Don't worry, come here. Anything can happen anytime anyway, so... and like I said, it's just part of it, part of everything.
So I would like to share here my experience. The first time when I experienced that earthquake, it was the first time I came out and then towards the ground and I found no one there. Exactly. But after experiencing 3-4 earthquakes, now I'm used to, and I know that okay, you are safe here, nothing is gonna happen.
Exactly. So there is several apps you can download that will warn you in case something happens. Not just weather, but also just kind of like if they think the earthquake, or if you felt, just a little bit of an earthquake, like we've only felt them a little bit right here, not really strong ones. You can look on your app and ask them, like, is there any, to see if there is anything, if there's some warning or something. But most of the time, even if there is a warning, there is not actually any danger too much. So they warn you more than actually happens. Yeah.
And now, the last question, but it is not the least question. It is very important question, right? Would you like to give any suggestions, advice to the MEXT aspirants in your country or in my country as well?
Yeah, so I think for me, I put a lot of pressure on myself to study really hard in this year, to study a lot of kanji and, to be reading all the time. And when I came here, I realized that you learn so much passively and there's so much information coming to you that it kind of makes you, it tires you out in the beginning. But that doesn't, and you might not be able to study as much as you wanted to, but that doesn't mean that you are not learning. You are actually just learning passively, and everything you see and everything you hear, you learn. So I think this is something I'm still telling myself, just relax a bit, because the more you have fun and have positive experiences here, the more you will take from those positive experiences. I would say use the money you get from the MEXT to travel. Go travel alone as well, because you will see and experience different things if you travel alone. And don't be worried, too much scared. If you have Google Maps, honestly, it will help you and it will take you anywhere. With Google Maps, I went to the farthest corner in the countryside and it showed me exactly the right time for the bus and the train. And a lot of things are written in English, different than what I think some people are saying. Actually, there is a lot of things written in English as well. So, and people will always help you, you know. And I think, yeah, a little bit of courage, and don't be afraid to have fun.